Hello, my name is Jared Napralla, and the title of my presentation is One District, Two Buildings, Managing a Two-Building District with Just One Librarian. Please excuse my voice as I fell ill this week. My research explored a staffing model that is becoming increasingly common, yet remains profoundly challenging. The one librarian, two buildings arrangement. As we look at the data and strategies, I will ask how a nomadic librarian can move from being a book repository manager to a strategic information leader. In this model, a single professional is spread across multiple campuses, often functioning as a nomadic presence rather than a rooted one. As we dive into the data today, our central question isn't just about logistics. We're asking, how can a nomadic librarian move from being a mere book repository manager to a more strategic informational leader? How do we maintain professional impact when our physical presence is halved? More specifically, how can a single librarian effectively lead a two building program while mitigating the negative effects of split campus staffing on student achievement? To understand the why behind this research, we must look at a troubling trend in U.S. schools. Currently, 60% of school districts are facing a library staffing crisis. 30% have only one librarian for the entire district, and another 30% have no librarian at all. In my school, we only have a part time librarian for two buildings. The achievement gap. The impact of this staffing model isn't just an administrative headache, it's a student achievement issue. Data from Colorado and Wisconsin are clear. Students in schools with full-time, endorsed librarians consistently outperform their peers in reading and language arts. In Wisconsin specifically, the gap is most dramatic at the high school level. We see higher percentages of students reaching advanced and proficient levels when a specialist is present full-time. When we split a librarian between two sites, we aren't just saving money. We are potentially widening the achievement gap, particularly for students who rely on the school library as a primary point of equitable access to information. This is also particularly true in my own school district, where a part time librarian mostly serves the elementary and not the middle school, high school. Our data shows that students, usually in the elementary building, outperform our middle school, high school students on state testing. Managing two libraries is not simply doing one job in two spaces. It is managing double the administrative load. You are dealing with two separate budgets, two sets of work orders, and two distinct sets of building policies. As researchers Wayman and colleagues emphasize, you cannot carbon copy a program. Each building has a unique DNA, unique culture, and instructional need. To survive this, a librarian must practice structured delegation and maintain a crystal clear chain of command. If present hours aren't communicated openly, the librarian risks becoming invisible to both sites. So the solution, this comes in the power of social capital. Perhaps the greatest hurdle is professional isolation. Even in a crowded school, a librarian is often the only person doing their specific job. This leads to marginalization. To counter this, we look at the work of Jessica Lilly on social capital. To move from the margins to the center, the nomadic librarian must utilize three strategies. The first one being bonding. Creating a survival network with other district librarians outside of your own school or other singletons within your school district. This is particularly true in my school. I'm a singleton myself as the athletic director and technology coordinator. I often network with other ADs from other districts or with other singletons in my own school, such as the food service director, building and grounds director, and most importantly, the librarian. Number two, bridging. Bridging for relevance. Collaborating with teachers to integrate library expertise directly into the classroom. Collaborating with teachers will get them to support the mission of the library and the services it can provide to the district and its students. And the third principle is actually connecting with the principal. Connecting with the principal to ensure the library is seen as a systematic solution for equity and budgeting, rather than just a room full of books. Collaborating with the principal on how library services can help close the student achievement gap will help increase the library's importance in each building and/or school. Adaptive leadership. Success in this model requires adaptive leadership. This means mobilizing the entire school community to share responsibility for the library's success. According to Allen's research, this involves balancing three leadership pillars. First one, advocacy. You must promote the library's values to all stakeholders. Second one, professional leadership. You must stay current and mentor others about the importance of library services and informational learning and inquiry. And last, instructional leadership. You must directly impact student learning by collaborating with teachers and the principal. The research shows that while librarians prioritize advocacy to save their programs, the true challenge is maintaining instructional leadership when your time is split. Effective management demands a balance that is significantly harder to achieve when you are physically disconnected from your students half the time. This is particularly true for myself. I am a singleton in my own school. I serve as athletic director and technology coordinator. I find myself most often doing administrative work and behind the computer and actually not working with students. The critical role of support staff. If the librarian is the strategic leader who manages the day-to-day in successful split models, the answer is robust support staff. By employing library and media technicians or aides or technology coordinators to handle routine management like Chromebook repairs, iPads, circulation, checking books in and out, we free the certified professional. Lance and Hofshire note that adding technicians can actually increase services for students. It allows the librarian to focus on high-impact instructional partnerships. The data shows that top-performing schools have nearly 1.5 times more staff hours per 100 students. Without this support, the certified librarian becomes a clerical nomad rather than an instructional leader. Maintaining a constant virtual presence. When you can't be there physically, you must be there virtually. Technology acts as a force multiplier. To avoid the death knell or perceived unavailability, nomadic librarians must use integrated communication tools like middle school Teams or Google Workspaces. I believe if you are a Wisconsin school district, we all have free access to Google Workspace. We must shift from the book repository model to a unified digital program. This means centralized digital content, 24/7 access through platforms like Sora, and shared online subscriptions. By leveraging purchasing power and digital tools, we ensure that a student's access to inquiry-based learning isn't dependent on which parking lot the librarian's car is in that day. In conclusion, the one librarian, two buildings model is undeniably a financial compromise. However, it does not have to be an instructional failure. To succeed, we must pivot. We must move from being keepers of books to becoming the chief information officers of our districts. By leveraging social capital, advocating for support staff, and utilizing technology, we can bridge the physical gap between both buildings. Our goal is to ensure that no matter the staffing model, every student has a leader who champions their right to information in order to help close the student achievement gap. I want to leave you with a tough question that hits home for my rural school district. How do we build systems that allow a part-time librarian to keep the spirit of inquiry alive across two separate campuses? We want to move beyond a simply book checkout and create a truly collaborative culture. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.